So welcome everyone. Please, if you can hear me, I would like to maybe just indicate that you can hear me. You can hear me speaking.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So welcome everyone to our first.
I can hear.
Okay. Welcome everyone to our first real class of first real session of the training. We have 11, I would say 10 minus me. We have 10 participants here. Do we wait for everyone else to join or we continue? What's his suggestion?
Good evening. Yeah, thank you. So I think because it's the first official class, we can wait 3 more minutes. That's 10 minutes past 12. However, from next week, would also inform the guys, so everyone has to be on time. So max we can wait will be 3-4 minutes. But for today, please let's just wait 3 more minutes, and then when it's 10 past 12, you can go ahead. They will catch on with the recording. Okay, sir?
Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. So we wait 5-10 minutes, right?
Yeah, today we are just waiting until 12:10, so we can begin in 3 minutes time.
Okay, that's okay. Okay, so it's 12:10. 12:10, and we have 13 participants, excluding myself. 12:13. So we will get started now. So welcome everyone. I I want this. I would like our class and the sessions to be as interactive as possible. I want it to be very interactive. So when we have questions, I'd want everyone to be very open and free to ask questions because we're all learning here, myself inclusive. So I want it to be very interactive. You ask questions, I'll ask questions. We talk about what we understand, our perspective, how we see it, what we don't understand. I am all here for it. Is that understood?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know. What do we think is the best way to respond to when I'm talking or when I'm asking questions or when we are trying to communicate? Do we think the best way is to use the chat or we unmute ourselves to talk or speak? Okay, Stella says chat. Do we all agree with Stella?
Yes. We agreed. I agreed.
Okay. Okay, that is okay. So do we all have our software installed? Everyone on this class, do we all have our software installed? Photoshop. And if you have it installed, tell me what version you have installed. Do we all have Photoshop installed? And also, just so it doesn't sound like I'm talking to myself, every once in a while, I would like to, I just like to get the feeling that I mean, I'm talking to human beings. Like, obviously, we're not all bots. I just like to get that feeling that I'm talking to someone. So every once in a while, I'd also appreciate a voice response, not just chat. Every once in a while. Okay, can we all see my screen? Can we all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, I need to hide this. How do I hide this stuff? Okay. Okay, so first things first. So first things first, I want to ask the question because we're all here for a design class, a graphic design training. So I'd want to hear your opinions. What is graphic design to everyone here? You can unmute yourself to talk, or you can send your answer in the chat, please. So what is graphic design from your
Okay, so on what I understand as graphic design, it's using images, pictures to convey or send an information to people.
Okay, using images or text to convey or send
Information.
to people.
Yeah.
Okay, that is, we have one answer. Images or text to convey or send information to people. So that is a very good answer. My go-to definition for graphic design is that it is a form of communication, right? It is a form of communication that uses colors, shapes, images, and words to create visual content that surrounds us in many forms, namely print and digital media. But my keyword here is communication. You know what I'm saying? Communication is very, very key. So when we are designing, we need to bear in mind that, can we hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, sir. You can.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. So what is key here is communication. We need to bear in mind that we are communicating. So it means that you are putting out something, and you're expecting whoever is seeing what you put out to understand clearly what you put out. So graphic design is a form of communication. Now, this form of communication uses colors, right? Colors, shapes, images, and words to create visual content. Now, the first thing is, do we believe that just having colors and shape can be a means of communication? Just putting out colors and shape, it's a means of communication. My go-to example is always the Japanese flag, right? I mean, this Japanese flag is basically just you have just a white canvas or a white background and a circle, right? A circle. Now, for many people may not know what the circle means or the red circle means, but to the Japanese people, it signifies the rising, either the rising or the setting sun. I need to confirm that, but it signifies a sun. So whoever designed the Japanese flag had that in mind to communicate that to the Japanese people. And the fact that the flag has been around for many years means that most of the Japanese people agree with that form of communication. So we use colors, we use shapes, we use images, we use words, this word could also, instead of word, I'll go with text here. We use text, and we use words to create visual content that surround us in many forms. For a graphic designer, there's a very wide expanse of areas or of things that designers can be involved with. We have the brand identity, which includes logos, typography, and color palettes. We have user interfaces. We have user interfaces on apps and websites. We have books, magazines, newspapers, and other publications. We have product packaging. We have advertisements and commercials, signage for stores, transportation, stadiums, and event spaces. We have video games. The point is, whatever you can think of in your mind that can be created, a graphic designer can do that. you know, basically you bring out ideas to life. So whatever idea it is you have, it can be created, it can be brought to life by a designer. Okay, now the software would be using to go on this journey is like I said earlier, Adobe Photoshop. So we'll be using Photoshop to start our graphic design journey. So if you have it installed, you open it. So who has their software installed, please? Who has their software installed? Is there anyone here that doesn't have?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
My name is Dave. So for me, I couldn't got the photo shop, but I have other software like Photo Express and FPZ Lab. So my system, I couldn't take the Photoshop, so I was having a crash. So all the time, I was trying to take the Photoshop of my system. But for now, I didn't have the Photoshop. I have a other software like I said before, Photo Express and
Pixel Lab.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Now, foundationally, we are going to be doing the same thing.
Okay.
Everyone here is going to be doing the same thing foundationally, but we are using. I said earlier, the software is only as good as the designer. So you can be using Pixel Lab, I can be using Photoshop, I can be using what's the other one? Very, very popular. I don't use it, but it's very popular. What's it called?
Canva?
No, not Canva. Corel Draw, right?
Okay.
You can be using Corel Draw, but foundationally we are going to be doing the same thing, right? So I said earlier, I'll say it again. The software is only as good as the designer. So it depends on how well you know, on how well you use what you have. That's just the most important thing. So, so do we all have our software installed, Photoshop? You all have it installed, or open rather, not installed. Do you have it open? If you have it installed, do you have it open?
I would, okay, for me, I would say yes.
If you have your Photoshop open, let me know, please. I want us all to start at the same page.
For me, I would say my photo, my PZ Lab, I've just opened.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who else have their softwares opened? I'm not seeing any responses. I want to know if you have it open, please.
Excuse me,
So,
one
yeah.
more. If you, well, I don't know if you want me to open Photo Express or PZ Lab, so I don't know which one.
Whatever one works for you.
Huh?
Whatever software works for you, you open it.
Okay, I have
Yeah.
a PZ Lab.
Okay, that's fine. You can open Pixel Lab. Okay, so I believe you all have Photoshop opened. Now, when you open it, this is the first place you see, or this is the first screen you get to see. Now, you can see some files here, but I don't expect everyone else to have the same files as me. I have these files because I opened them initially before now. So this is where you call the home page or the home screen, as I would say, in your Photoshop. It's the home page or the home screen. Now just think of it like as your phone, right? Your mobile phone, you have the home, okay, so for James that says your graphic processor is not compatible, if you have it installed, it's probably still going to work. So just ignore that message. So like I was saying, you have your home screen. Now this is the home screen of the software. This is the home screen of the software. From here, you can't design. It just basically shows you where you can go to, right? It shows you the different areas. It shows you the different areas in your software. So for Superstar, it says it's downloaded as an Adobe Acrobat file. It means you downloaded the wrong software. That's what it means. So now the first thing is that this is the home screen. We have also to actually go into Photoshop, we have what we call the icon here at the top left corner, where my cursor is right now. We have the icon. So you click on that icon, on this icon, sorry, and it takes you to the software itself, where you can start designing. That's where it takes you to. Again, if you want to go back to the home screen, you see this icon, this home icon here. You click on it, it takes you to the home screen. If you want to go to where you can design, you click on this PS icon. It takes you, or it brings you here, right? Now, we're going to learn this. At first glance, this might look a little bit intimidating. The interface, the Photoshop interface might look a little bit intimidating, but trust me, it is really, really, really easy to navigate. You just have to understand and know where the essentials are, the things you need and the things you don't need all the time. You just need to know where they are and how to place them. That's just the most important thing. And after that, you are good to go. Okay. So the first thing is that okay, so the first thing is that when you are here, you need to go to Windows. That's the first thing I would recommend. You go to Windows and come to your workspace. So this is called the workspace, right? Just like an artist or an artist, basically, you have a place where you go to work, right? So it's your workspace. You always want to have it arranged in a way you like, or in a way you prefer, or in a way that's convenient for you, that can make you navigate, towards different places as much as you want to and as little as you want to. So this is your workspace, and you come to Windows. This is called the menu bar. You come to we'll get to that later. But this is called the menu bar. So you come to Windows and Workspace, right? Again, Windows and Workspace. Make sure you're onto Essentials or Default. Everyone here, make sure you're onto Essentials or Default. If you click on Essentials and you are not having what I have here, what you do is you come to Windows, Essentials, and Reset Essentials. So it just helps you reset. That's the first thing. So you come to Windows, Essentials, and Reset Essentials. If you're having issues with this, please let me know in the chat. Now, the first thing is that you can see this long line of this is called the you can see this long line of tools. This is called the toolbar, right? It's called the toolbar. You can see everything here is there are tools you use to achieve different results. But it's very, very long. I prefer mine to be double and short. So this arrow icon here, you just click on it and it just divides it into two. It makes it very much easier to navigate. Yes, the class is being recorded. So it can make it very much easier to navigate. So that's the first thing I would recommend you do when you come to your toolbar. This is called the toolbar. Everything here is called, they're all different tools here. So you want to make sure that your toolbar is double, because if it's this way, I think it's very difficult to look for different tools that you may need, right? So I recommend you come to this arrow, you click on the arrow and just divide it into two. So you can easily navigate. Please, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
Susan says she can't see my screen, but she can't see anything. So it may be network. So you can go out and come in again. It should be network. So that's the first thing you want to do. Like I said, this is called the toolbar, right? Then the next thing you want to do is you want to we have what we call the panels here. The right hand side. We have what we call the panels. Now the panels are basically just places where we can use to achieve certain results, right? So you can move this way. This is called the color panel. This is called the swatch panel. This is called the gradient, the pattern, so why these panels can be moved as easily as this is because everybody has what they work best with. Let's go back to Windows and reset this. So we come to workspace, reset essentials. Okay. Now from the workspace, you can see that if you are somebody that is basically into 3D, right? If you are a 3D artist or a 3D model artist, this is probably the best workspace for someone who does that. This is the best workspace. If you are someone who is into graphic and web, probably you design web, because you can also design websites on Photoshop.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think the recording stopped a moment ago. If you could please restart. I don't know why.
Okay.
Just about 30 seconds ago.
So how do I record?
I think you should have the record button. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's on again.
Yes, it's on.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, so I was saying that if you are a web design or a web designer, this is the recommended workspace for your work. If you are into motion design, this is one. If you're into painting, this is one, right? If you're into photography, this is one. But obviously we are just getting started, so we go back to the essentials. We go back to the essentials. Now we have we talk about the toolbar or the toolbars. We'll still come to that and we will discuss it at length. I just want us to skim through the workspace. So we have the panels here. Now in the panel section, we have the layers, right? This is the layers. This is probably the most important panel or the most important part of the panel that we'll be using, the layers. So just bear that in mind, the layers. Then, like I said, this can be moved to whatever position you want it to be. Then we have the layers, we have the channels, we have the paths, right? So me, when I work, the tools I work with mostly are the swatches, first of all. So I'll bring the swatches down. We have the properties. I use the properties a lot. I don't use adjustments, so I'm going to close this. I'll close it from here. I don't use adjustments so much, so I'll close it from here also. Okay. So I have the channels, layers, and paths. I'll take the channels to display. This is the gradient. I don't use it often, so I'll close this. The pattern, I don't use it often, so I'll close this. So the idea is to keep what you need and discard what you don't use all the time. That's so you keep what you need and discard what you don't use all the time. That's the idea of setting up a very straightforward workspace. So we have the layers again, channels and paths. And this is the swatches. So I'll take this down here just to, so if I want to get my swatch, I come here. If I want to get my properties, I come here. Now let's say there is something you mistakenly close, right? Like the properties, for example. I close it. I can't find it anywhere here again. For us to get that panel back, we come to Windows, or to Window rather, and go to properties, right? And you click it, and you see it has appeared here again. Your layer or the layers are the most important part of the panels that we'll be using. So again, if you close it mistakenly, you can't find it here again. You come to Windows, layers, right? Click on layers, and you see it is back there. Nice and easy. Now, please, my screen went off temporarily. Let me go back there. Can we see my screen? Can we see my screen?
Yes.
You can see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I didn't realize. Please, I want to confirm again. You can see my software, Photoshop.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Mm.
So now basically I'm setting up my workspace. Then if we are okay with this, right? This is what I want. Then I come to Window and go to New Workspace, right? Window and go to the New Workspace. And then I rename the workspace to whatever I want. Let's name this, or let's name this to say minimal. You can keep the keyboard shortcut. Just click in all of this and save. So when it is done, if I go to essentials again, or I go to motion, right? And then I mess up my workspace, and I'm trying to get back to the workspace I use all the time. I just come back to workspace, and you have minimal there. So it's very nice and very easy. If you have done this, let me know in the chat, please. If you're having problems, also let me know so we can solve that. If you're having problems, also let me know so we can solve that. All right, then. So I want us to recap on what just learned, or what I just said. When you start up Photoshop, you're on the home screen, right? You're on the home screen, and then for you to get started, you come to this, you click on the PS icon here, and it takes you to your workspace. So you have the one we saved initially, minimal. We also have other ones, essentials, default. So I mean, we all have, so just think of it as your office, right? When it comes to Photoshop, as your office, we all have different workspaces, where we work or where we school, different workspaces. So just set it up the way that suits you. For me, I just have my swatches, I have my properties, and everything I will need later can be added. Again, you come to Windows. If you lose something, you come to Windows. If I want, say, paragraph. Okay, this is something else I use very well. Paragraph and character. Many characters. Good. So I'll close this now. So another one I use is character. So I'll come to, if I want character, for example, I'll come to Windows or Window and click on character. Now I have character. There's something else that should be there. Here it's on the A. So if they are docked this way, and you cannot see the names, you just use your mouse to hover around or over the icon. This is history, this is comments, this is character, this is swatches, and this is properties. Okay. Now I want us to go through the other part of the workspace. Please remember, when setting up your workspace, you want to keep it simple, clean, and include only the things you need. That is it. You include only the things you need. Okay. So we go back to the home. So we go back to the home, right? We go back to the home, and let us create a new file now. To create a new file, to create a new file, you just come here where you see File, the top left corner of your screen. File, New. You can see it, File and New. Okay. So when you get to this part, you see that you can create a file that tailors that suits what you are trying to achieve. But for now, we'll just do something very quick. Create. This is I want to believe that when you open it, you see the only option you have here is default Photoshop size. Default Photoshop size. So if you want to design something on a letter or a letterhead or something like that, you can come here to print. So this is letter, this is legal, tabloid, A4, A6, whatever dimension you are trying to to design on can be, or design with rather, can be gotten here. You can move over to art and illustration. You have 1000 pixel grid, poster, postcard. So this is the recommended size, for example, for a postcard rather, right? For a poster, this is the recommended size also. When it comes to web, this is the most common dimension for designing for a web screen or a website. 1,356 pixels times 768. It comes to mobile. If you are designing for a mobile app, so if you are testing it on an iPhone X, this is it. On an iPad Pro, this is it. So it just depends on whatever you are trying to achieve. But for us, we want to come back to recent, and here, remember, we're trying to create a new file. Remember, we're trying to create a new file, so this will be named test, right? It's going to be named test. Now the dimensions, we come to pixels here. We click on this drop bar, and we have different units. We have the pixels, we have the inches, centimeters, millimeters, points, and picas. Often, or very, very often, or the most common unit that designers use or graphic designers use is called the pixels, right? The pixels, or abbreviated PX. So we use pixels here. And let's say we are designing for, say for Instagram, right? For Instagram. Now Instagram have the recommended dimension for Instagram is 1000. The width is going to be 1080, while the height would be 1325. I'll confirm that. Or let's just confirm that here. Recommended Instagram image size.
وانا داخل ولا حاجة ولا بكلم ماما.
Okay, so it's more, if you are going to design in a square, in a 1:1 aspect ratio, is 1080 by 1080. But if we are going to do the vertical images, it's going to be sized at 1080 by 1350, as you can see here. So we go back to Photoshop and we put in not 1325, but 1350. And then just leave everything here for now. Leave everything here for now. Over time, we'll go through them, but for now, just leave everything like the way it is. So 1080 by 1350, and then you move on to create. So when you click on that, this is what you get, right? This is what you get. So again, I'll be explaining what everything is. Now this white part here is called the canvas, right? It's called your canvas. So like an artist, this is where you come and you draw your beautiful work. In fact, this is where we'll be creating different masterpieces on the canvas, right? So we have the canvas, which is where the work you are going to do is going to be seen. But aside the canvas, we have the tools. These are the tools here. These are the tools here. We have the tools. This is the move tool, for example. We have different tools here. Then we have the panels, like I mentioned earlier. We have the panels. Now, at the top, we have what we call the menu bar. You can see file, edit, image, layer, type, and so on and so forth. So this is what we have. It's called the menu bar. Just think of it like a restaurant. When you go to a restaurant, you get a menu, right? and you order what you want according to that menu. And if the chef is good, you get exactly what you want or what you ordered. So in the same way, when you come to the menu bar, whatever it is that you want to get, if you want to get more brightness, you get it here. You want to get more calls, you get it here. You come to type, you want to get more panels, character, you get it here. You come to filter, you want to add a block, your image, you get it here. So basically, it's just a menu. Every single thing you want can be found here in the menu bar. Okay. We have something else we have something else that is called the what we'll call the option bar. I'll show you how that works. Hold on. And this is the brush tool. This is the brush tool. So if you paint an S, for example, or let me use an L. If you paint an L. Now, if you paint an L, this is called the option bar, right? Now, these options is basically, or it is directly linked to the toolbar. So whatever tool you have that is clicked on, you see an option for it. For example, this is the brush tool, and we clicked and we drew an L, for example. You can see that we have different options for it. You can change the mode, you can change the opacity. So if you change this opacity now to say, let's put it at 48%, and we draw on that L, you can see that it's not as clear or it's not as visible as the first L because we've reduced the opacity. If you also take it down to say 4%, we draw on that L, you can see that it's barely visible, but it's there. It's barely visible, but it's also there. If you take it down to, you take it up to 100 again, or let's take it to 90, so there's a difference, 93. We draw on that L. You can see it's not as clear or visible as this first L. That's because we've tampered with the opacity. So the flow is also similar to the opacity. So if we take this to, let's take this to 100%, and this is what we get. If you take this to 100, this is what we get. In good time, we'll talk about all these options in details. We'll discuss them in details in good time. For now, we just came through them. Okay. Now we have something very important at the bottom of your workspace interface. We have what you call the status bar. Now this status bar shows us the status of, basically, it's called like the name implies, status bar. It shows us the status of what you have on your screen. Like for here, you can see that it's showing us the dimension 1080 by 1350, and it also tells us that 300 dots per inch. So when you click on this arrow here, if there are different options here, but let's talk about the important ones that we'll be using frequently. We have something called let's say the current tool, for example. If you click here on this eyedropper tool, down it shows you the status. It shows you that you are currently using the eyedropper. If you come to eraser, it shows us that we are currently using the eraser. If you come to the hand tool, it shows that we're currently using the hand tool. So basically, it just tells us the status of what we are doing at that point in time. That's what it does. So, okay, now layer count. If you want to know how many layers you have on your work, you come to layer count here. You come to layer count here, and it just shows you, okay, now it shows us that we have one layer on. And if you come to layers here, you can see that you have just one layer. So if you come to this plus icon now, you have to add a new layer or create a new layer, and we create a new layer. Now we have two layers, right? So we come down here and it shows us that we have two layers here also. So that's how it works. But I always keep mine as on document dimension. So I can still see my dimension and know what I'm working with. You can see this 43.98%. It's just saying that my canvas is being zoomed to 43.98%. I can come here and still zoom out. So here it means I'm zoomed out to 94% and so on and so forth. If you want to zoom to a particular percent, say 50, you can come here and write it down, 50, and that's what it does. Please, are we following? Are we all following? Let
Yes.
me know in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm following.
thank you. Okay, so we talked about the status bar and the menu bar, also the options bar. Now I want us to talk about what we call the OCS of Photoshop. The OCS. I call it the open, create, and save. Basically, let me type that down. OCS. OCS. So basically, the OCS just means open, create, and save. You just say coinage. I just saw somewhere. Open, create, and save. That's what it talks about. So again, we go to our home page, right? Go to our home page. To open a file now. To open a file, come to file, open. Okay. Now let's say I want to work with say this very handsome guy here. Okay, I want to work with this guy or with this image. What I'll just do is now I've opened it. I'll open it again just so we see how I did that. You come to your menu bar, you have the file, open. You can see. If you go to new, going to new means that you're creating a totally new file from scratch, like we just did. New means we are creating a new file from scratch. As you can see, it says let's start something new. So we are creating a new file from scratch if you come to new. But if there's an image or there's a file already that is in existence that you want to work with, you go to file, open, right? File, open, and then you choose the image. So this is the image I chose. I clicked on it and I clicked on open. So we open it. Remember, you need to find the location of wherever you want to open. So if you have say something you want to work with, you can just find where it is on your PC or your Mac, and then you just open it. Okay, so we've opened it now. So the next thing we want to do is to do what? Let's say we want to use the brush tool again to do something on it, and just do something like this. Just do something like this on it. We'll have this on our canvas. And we want to save this, right? I want to save this. We just come to File, come to Save. Okay, I don't save it as JPEG, so we come to Save As, not Save, come to Save As. Now, when you come to Save As, when you click on Save As, right? We can rename this to whatever we want it to be. Let's say test one. And then you see save as type. So you have different options to save that document as. We have the regular or the very popular JPEG. We have the PNG. We also have the PDF. There's PDF somewhere here. We have PDF. So there are different files there are different file types you can save it as. But we are going to save it as the Photoshop document or PSD. PSD is Photoshop document. So we save it as PSD, which is the first option I have here. Save it. And then you just save and you click on save. So what it does now is that we have saved this. So you can come here, look at this X icon. You click on it. So we have closed that out totally. Now, why we save as PSD is because why we save our files as PSD so that we can so that we can come back later to make adjustments or edit to the file. That is why we save as PSD. So you come to PSD. This is Photoshop document. Open it up. Oh, sorry, not that. Test one, right? That's the first one. Open it up. So you see that the file we saved initially is still here, right? The file we saved initially is still here. And now you can now make changes to our to the canvas. You can now make changes to the canvas. Any questions up to this point, please? If you have questions, or if you are trying to, and I recommend that you have your software opened and try out what I'm trying out, so you find it easier to do. Any questions up to this point? If you don't have any questions, you can just let me know in the chat. Okay, so we'll forge ahead. So we've learned how to open, create, and save a file on Photoshop. Open, that is OCS, open, create, and save a file. Because if you open a file or if you create a file and you don't save it, then what's not the need of actually working on that file? So it means it has to be saved. So the ways to save it, like I said initially, you can save as a PSD, which means that you can, PSD means Photoshop document. That's what it means. PSD, Photoshop document. I just want to spell this out because we're going to be using this regularly. Photoshop document. That's what it means. So this file is this is the I would say the source file. When you save a file on Photoshop, it appears as PSD. So let's say you are designing a flyer for an event, right? For an event, and you want to send it out for printing. If those at the print shop or whoever is printing it, if the person has Photoshop installed, they will just get the file and they will open it out. And when they open it, say they want to make an adjustment on that file before they print it, then they can get that done. But mind you, Photoshop PSD can only be opened for now, at least can only be opened on Photoshop. So before you start designing, you need to ask those that are printing what kind of files they accept, what file types they accept, because you can also save as PDF also, like I said. You can save as PDF. There's a PDF here. Where's the PDF? Here. So there's a PDF here. So there's the PNG. There's also the JPEG. are the popular options for exporting. Okay. So now that we're done with that, let's talk about it. We move to the tools, right? The tools we have. We won't talk about the tools in detail now. So I'll clear this up. Let me open a file. Let's use another file. Please, the recording has stopped. If someone can help restart the recording.
Don't worry, is live streaming on other distance. So I'm live streaming it, so don't worry. So we can.
Okay.
I'm still trying to do the
Okay.
recording as well.
Okay. So now this is the move tool, right? So this is the new image I've opened on Photoshop. I have this image on my system. You know what? Let us work with something else. Let's work with something else. So if you go to the drive, there's an image I uploaded. I wanted us to use this image as for our assignment, but you can start working with it right away and still get something else later on. Just so everyone can follow along. How do I copy this? Okay, I think I just copy it here. So we can download. I'm trying to send this to. It's not sending. Is there a reason? Yeah, I'll send on the WhatsApp group. Okay. So I'll send it on the WhatsApp group. So we can use these images now for a test I want to do. I want us to just work on something briefly using the tools we have in our arsenal, on our disposal. So I'll come on here, open, and come to download. This is where I have my file. So I have it here. This is Blackman. Okay. So we have this image opened up in Photoshop. You can get this image from the drive, so you can follow along from the drive, so you can follow along. So we have this image in Photoshop. I just want to do something briefly. Okay, I want to add okay, so this is what we use. The first tool in our toolkit is the move tool. This is probably the most important tool we'll be using, because everything we need to do, we have to move it at some point. So we are going to be using the move tool. As you can see here, there's even a small tutorial here. It says the move tool move a selection or layer. So this is the move tool. Now I have different what's it called? Different boxes here. Different boxes here. So if I want to move it here, you just click on the you click on the box you want to move and just drag it around to the position you want it to be in. Right? So that's what the move tool does. You just drag it around to the position you want it to be in. I can move this here, move this here, move this here, and move this here. Now I said something earlier about the options bar. Now I said that for every tool we have the options bar for that particular tool, right? So as you can see, we're on the move tool, so we have some options here for the move tool. So this is if I click on this, and then now to select two images or to select two layers, right, or objects on your screen, you can either click on the first one. When you click on this, you hold the control key or the command. If you're using a Mac, you hold the command key. Sorry, not command, shift rather. You hold the you click on the object you want to move. Say I want to move this other one alongside it. This is my, okay, let me change the color. I'll change the color so it is easier to differentiate. Let me change the color briefly. So say this is called cyan, right? So the cyan and the red, I want to move both the cyan and the red. The way I do it basically is I just select both of them. To select it, you just drag your mouse over the canvas, right? Drag it over the canvas and you can select two of them. You can see. I can now move them to wherever I want them to go to. So another way to do it is to hold the first, click on the first one, which is the red one. Then you hold the shift and click on the other one and just move. You can see. So you click on the first one, you hold the shift and click on the other one, and you move. It moves. If you take your hand off the shift key, it's not going to move. But you need to hold this one and the shift, and you have them moving. You can move it to wherever you want them to go, or you want it to be at. Okay. Now we have some options for the movement of this object. Now this option here is to align it to the left, right? So align it to the left. So if you align, if I click on it, they're aligned. They're still there. Let me just show you. Hold on. The other one is still there, just beneath it. Okay, let me separate them. So if I click here, it aligns to the left. If I click here, aligns to the center, click here. Just so you see there's a difference. Let me just change this one a bit. Good. So I'll delete this other two boxes. Just so you know there's a difference. If I have two of them together, I click on this first one here, it aligns to the left. I click on this one here, it aligns to the center, you can see. And I click on the one at the right, it aligns to the right, you can see. So center, left, right. Now if I want to align it to the top, right? So the top edges. This is the right top. And this is the left one. On the bottom rather. Well, let's say we want to align, let's say our alignment there, we don't want to align it because this cyan is aligning relatively to this red one. That's what's happening. But let's say we don't want that to happen. We want it to align to the canvas. This is the canvas, remember. This whole box here is the canvas where the guy is at the background. Let's say we want to align it relatively to the canvas. What we do is you come to these three dots here. You click on it. You see align selection. So you align the selection now to, so it align to the canvas, right? So now when you click on this again and you align it to center, it comes to the center of the canvas, as you can see. If you align it to the right, it comes to the right of the canvas, and the left of the canvas. You want it to go to the top, comes here, comes here, comes here. You can see that. Obviously, there are way more options. There are way more options to. It just depends on how you want it to be, or how you want it to be aligned. It's all depends on what you are working on. So that's how the movement and aligning works. Basically, that's what we're going to have to do with that. Now, for it to be easier, for it to be easier with us, we need to select the show transform controls. Show transform controls. If you click this off, it's going to, you may not even know what you are doing. But if you click this on, it shows you that this one is selected. If you click this one, it shows that this one is selected. But if you off it here, you toggle off this option here, it goes off. So for personally, I like mine to be toggled off so I can just work easily. But for a start, I think it's recommended that you toggle on the show transform control so you can see what you are working on, right? You can see what you're working on. In the same way, if I want to hold this together also, you see that I have two of them selected. I can see that there's a line that shows that I have two of them selected. So I recommend everyone here to have their transform controls on. You put it on, right? You put it on. Now, when you click on this cyan, you can see that there are 4 points at every angle, at every corner. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. When you hold this point and you drag it, see what happens. It makes the edges of the box rounded. So you round the edges of the box, as you can see. You round the edges of the box. If sometimes we may want to just make one edge of the box round and not just everything. What you just do is you come to properties. Where's properties? You come to properties, right? Now you see this chain icon here. It is clicked on. So you're going to toggle it off. And then you can now hold on. Let me make this bigger so we see everything. So this chain icon here is for the first one. Or for the second one, which is here, you're going to click off this chain icon. And then you can now round them according to how you want it to be. So this one shows the top left corner radius, which is here. This one shows the top right. This one shows the bottom right, and this one shows the bottom left. So if you want to round, say we want something like this, you can come here and just drag, and you see that it is just rounding. Alternatively, if you have a dimension you want to round it to, say you want it to be rounded down to 500 pixels, you come and write 500 there, and there you have it. This is what you have. You can see. Say you want here also to be rounded, you come there, 500. And this is what you have. I think I know a company's logo that is similar to this. Okay, so that's what you have with the move tool. You have with the move tool. Now the move tool has a shortcut, which I recommend. In fact, this is a shortcut that you need to remember for all of eternity. This is V, letter V. So let's say I am here. I am, let's say we are under the text tool, and I want to move this. I want to move, if I click here, it's not going to move. And I want to move this. Instead of dragging myself back to my AirPods. Sorry. Can anyone hear me, please?
Yes.
Okay. So if you want to say I am on a different tool and I want to move this guy now to this side, instead of me having to come to the move tool, you just press the shortcut, which is letter V. It's not M, it is V. And it takes you to the move tool, and you can move it however you want. Right? And you move it however you want. So let me just duplicate this. I can show us something. Now, when moving, there's something called the auto select. You can see it is checked on, right? So why the purpose of checking on your auto select is that when you click on this, it automatically selects this icon or this shape that we just made here. When you also click on this, it also selects this, right? Or if you have it checked off, you can move this. But if I come here to move it, it is not going to, this other one is not going to move. The first one is going to be the only one that's going to have movement. The reason is because the layer we're on this, let's call this rectangle 1. Let's call this rectangle 1. I'll call this rectangle 2. Okay. I'll also give this a different color. I'll give this a red. So the purpose of having your auto select checked on is that when you have, if it's not checked on, it's unless you manually go to that layer there and click on it before you're able to move it. So if you for example, you're on rectangle 1, even if you come here to try to move this guy, it will not budge because of you're already on rectangle 1. But to move this guy now, you have to come back to rectangle 2 to move it. But if you have auto select checked on, what happens is that when you just click on any of the objects, they just move easily. So having it checked on or checked off they all have their advantages and disadvantages. It depends on what you're working on, right? So if you have these two guys, sorry. If you have these two guys very, very close together, and you are trying to, let's say, pick out this one from this place, you can mistakenly pick the wrong object. So in that scenario, you need to check off auto select. But when they are far apart, or they are not overlapping or interlapping, what you just do is you just have your auto select checked on. That way you can just easily move this here, move this there, right? So that's that for the move tool. And like I said, the shortcut for the move tool is letter V. Use the letter V to get to the move tool from wherever you are. Then we have the other one, which is called the select, or the marquee tool, sorry. The marquee tool, but it's for selection. This marquee tool, now say I want to select this now. I make a selection, you can see. To do it, you just click on this and drag over wherever you want to select, and that's it. You have selected. If you want your selection to be square, which is 1:1, if you want it to be square, you hold the shift key while you're dragging it. No matter how big or small it gets, as you can see here, the pixels are even, they are matched, they're the same thing. So no matter how big or small it is, it's going to be a square that you get to select when you hold the shift key. Nice and easy. The shift key, the marquee tool has some options also. You can right click. You can right click to get those options. We have the elliptical marquee tool, which is just if you want to select an ellipse or a circle, right? See the same way. If you want it to be free form, you can just drag it and select it however you want. Say, I want to select this guy's eyes now. I'll zoom in. Yeah, I want to select his eyes. I can just zoom in and you can see it won't be perfect, but I just zoom in. I can see transform this. Transform selection. Just we'll learn all these things as we go on. So we'll learn all these things as we go on. I'm just showing you an example of what the elliptical marquee tool can do. That's what they call it though. For me, that's big grammar. What I call it is ellipse selection tool for selecting an ellipse. So it's just, they call it a marquee tool for selection, but I call it ellipse selection tool. So, and the other one there is a single row and column row. I don't think you will be using these guys very, very often. But the ones we'll be making use of very often is the elliptical tool and the rectangular tool. Now I'm going to delete that. So let's say I select this guy, I select this I select the rectangle here, this shape. If I want to deselect it, like say I don't need this selection anymore, I'm going to hold Control or Command D. Control or Command D, right? Control or Command D to deselect. D for deselect. So deselected, I hold Control or Command D. Now I'm going to select that. Okay. Then we have this tool called the lasso tool. Now this lasso tool, there are different ones here, right? But the lasso tool, the most popular lasso tool is the one called the lasso tool. There's the polygonal lasso tool and magnetic lasso tool, but we are going to be using mostly the lasso tool. Sometimes we'll make use of the polygonal. But let's show you how the lasso tool works, for example. Remember in the previous example, we used the elliptical marquee tool to select this guy's eyes. Say we want to use the lasso tool, which is better. We're going to zoom in. We're going to zoom in and select our tool, and you start from this side. You start from wherever you want to start anyways, but I always start from an angle. You hold your shift key while you're doing this, hold your shift key, and then just start selecting. Done. Just start selecting. It's basic for the lasso tool is for drawing freeform selections or making freeform selections. You can see that this selection method is way more effective than the what's it called? Than the other one, which is the ellipse. But like I said, it depends on what you're trying to work on, right? It depends on what you're trying to work on. If I want to select, let's say, is there another image I can use to show you that? Let me see. There is. I want to select, let's say, okay, I want to select, okay, I'll use this. If I want to select these glasses, for example, right? I want to select these glasses. I can just come here and use the elliptical. These glasses, they are not, it's not full circle. But I wanted something full circle, but I can't get that for now. Yes, I want to select this in full circle. We just come here, you hold your shift key and you select and you just drag down. Comes to your menu bar here, transform selection. Move it. You can move it where you want to select. And then just keep expanding. Just keep expanding until you get what you want. Okay, that's what we have. And you can see selected. The selected, you can see that it's full circle. Back to this guy. So the ellipse tool, the lasso tool is just used for making free form selections. And we have the crop tool, like the name implies, for cropping your images or for cutting it. And see, that's what it does. It crops. And there's a very important shortcut. I think I said the move tool was the most important. I think this one is even more important than the move tool. The shortcut is Control Z, which is for undoing maybe errors or whatever you want to go back to. Let's say I cropped this guy out this way, and I don't want that. I just come and press my Control Z. If you're using a Mac, it's going to be Command Z, Command and Z, Command plus Z or Z. Then we have the crop tool, right? We have the crop tool. We have the brush tool, like we used initially. This is the brush tool. We have the eraser tool, which is like the name implies, it's self-explanatory. We also have there's a tool I forgot to mention here, which is the quick. We have the object selection tool. We have the magic one, but we also have this one I use mostly, the quick selection tool. So what it does is that, let me zoom in on this guy. Hold on. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Don't know why this guy is not going through. I need to. Those are windows. Sorry, my I don't know why it's lagging. Very not like this. Sorry for that. My Photoshop was lagging for some reasons. Okay. Workspace. Anyone. So is the guy we're using. Who's that guy? Okay, sorry about that. So this tool here, this quick selection tool here, what it does is that okay, I think I know what's happening. Let's use this. Okay, so the quick selection tools, like I said, what it does is that it's if I come here to quick selection, I can just come over this guy now, and just start drawing down and start dragging it down. What it does is that it selects the subject in the picture or whatever I'm dragging on. You can see it's not very clean. You can see that part of his hair is left out. It's not very clean, but it does a very good job for a start. So okay, so that's what it does. So it just helps you select and you are good to go. So select that for you and you're good to go. Then we have the text tool. We have okay, then briefly, this selection tool here, you can see the options bar. This one here means that the first one means that you want to make a new selection. If you want to make a new selection from here, from the options bar, you just come here and drag over this, for example, and then come back here again. While that one is still selected, you can still hold your shift key, drag here. It's a tool that I will be using. I will explain in detail. I just want to skip over it for now. Then we have the eyedropper tool. The shortcut for this is I, letter I. So say I want to work with this guy's color. He's wearing a cyan kind of color, and I want to say I want to get the exact color that he's wearing. What this eyedropper tool does is that it just press letter. Let's assume I'm on move tool. I just press letter I. It takes me to eyedropper, or you can come here yourself and you just click on it. Just dab on it. What it does is that you can see here from the color, it just gives us the color immediately. You can still get the color of his headband. You can see it. That's what it does. We have this tool, spot healing brush tool. Let's zoom in a bit. Let's say he has blemishes, for example. But let's assume this circle here, this what's it called? White circle here is a blemish. You can just use that tool to take care of it. You can see, just dab on it. By blemish, I mean like pimple or whatever you want to be out. Just dab on it and it's out. Very easy, very simple and easy. You can see. So that's what it does. And we have the brush tool, like I said before, the eraser tool. We have the pen tool, which is what we're using very. Then we have the zoom tool, and this zoom tool is for obviously zooming. The shortcut is letter Z, so you can zoom in and zoom out out of your canvas with the zoom tool. Really, really important tool. Again, shortcut is letter Z. We have the hand tool for moving around our workspace or artboard. The hand tool. We have the rectangle tool, which is for creating shapes. Under it, we have rectangle, ellipse, which is circle, triangle, and other things you want to create. We have the text tool, which is for creating a text, right? For creating a text, for adding a text to our image. Let me show you this. This is a text, for example. Change the color under characters. To get your character, you come back to Windows and character. This way you can change the color easily. So say I want to use the color on his shirts. The color on his shirts. You can see that when I take my cursor out of the eyedropper, out of this box, it becomes an eyedropper too, right? So you can just click on it and the color changes to that of his on the shirts. Okay. From here, you can change the font to whatever font you want to use. In subsequent classes, I'll show you how to add fonts on Photoshop. Say I want to use this one, okay. So, no, let's do something. Let's do something else. Let's call it City View. City View. City View. Now come back to your characters again. You come back to your characters again. Where is that? Which is here. Change the color. I'll change it to something that will pop. Let's say just something to stand out of. Let me use a font I like very well. Go bold. Okay. So this is just something the text tool can do. You can see the text tool is for obviously creating text. So one way to add text on your image is that you just click on your T, which is the text tool here. The shortcut is also T. You click on it and you add your text. Nice and easy text, right? Now, another way to add text is you can click on the text tool and then you make a selection, right? You make a selection of, let's say I want the text to come down this way. So this is how it's going to be. Making a selection, like I said, Please, if you have questions, I would like you to ask me. To make a selection, you just come to your text tool, which is T, and you just drag over. Just drag. And then this is it. It's this way because it is very big. Let's change the dimension, the size to say, let's say 4 points. Then you can write whatever you want. Okay, so you can keep on writing. So that's a way to add text to your canvas on Photoshop. That's a way to add text to your canvas on Photoshop. Then the zoom tool, I think I explained that already. The zoom tool, for you to zoom in on your image, right, or your canvas, you just drag to your left and it zooms in. To zoom out, you drag. So you drag to your right to zoom in and you drag to your left to zoom out. That's how the zoom tool works. If you have this thing checked off, if yours can't go as smooth as mine is going when you zoom, it means that you have your scrubby zoom checked off. So it means it's going to be this way, but it has to be on. So your zoom can be as smooth as mine is showing. But if you have it checked off, this is what it's going to do. When you want to zoom, it just creates a section or a selection and it just zooms to that area. You can see. So the best way is to have or that's what I recommend, have your scrubby zoom turned on. You can zoom very smoothly in and out. So basically, that's basically the tools we'll be using from our toolbar. There are so many of them, but when we have use for them, I'm going to explain them to you, right? I'll explain them to you on how to use that. That's for our tool. And let's come down to the layer, right? You see this text at the back, city view, right? We have city view at the back. If you drag this thing up, this text up now, it comes to the top of this guy's head. But if you take it to the back, it comes to the back, as you can see, right? It comes to the back, as you can see. If you take this guy, the background to the top also, can't see anything. So we need to learn how to, we're going to learn how to section and arrange our layers. Learn how to section and arrange our layers. There's something fun I want everyone to do. This is the city view. Let me call this street view. What city view? Let me call this street view for a reason. I want us to take this out. I want us to open this guy again. It's going to delete itself. You open this guy. Yeah. In that drive there's a background, an image. So for you to add an image now, to your canvas, like a new image to your canvas, you come to file, right? Come to file, not open and not new. We come to place embedded, and just click on it. Then you look for the directory where the file is. For me, it's in my downloads. So I come to download and I click on it. You can see this is the background I have.
So I want us to change this background now, this guy's background. I want us to change it to this background. That's the first thing we'll be doing. And then we'll add a text with that says street view or wherever you want to be there. So for us to do that, you can see that it is overshadowing the guy, but the guy has to be at the front. So we need to take this guy now, or this empty streets, this folder, we need to take it, we need to drag it down to the back. You can see, you drag it down to the back. And when you drag it down to the back, when we drag it down to the back, we have this guy, this black man. Let's make it bigger. Just drag it here and drag it here, just to make it bigger. Then I'll move it down a little. Okay, so we have this. So we want to change this guy's background to this background. So to change that, it's very easy. You just come to well, there are different ways to change it actually. But an easy way to change it is to just come to select here, right? You come to select. Make sure you are on this layer with the man. You come to select and go to select subject. Then you when you select subject, what happens is that the man will be automatically selected by Photoshop. When you do that, you come down to this icon here, which says add layer marks, right? Add layer marks, and you just click on it. What happens is that it automatically takes out the background, right? That's what it does. So that's what everyone is going to be doing. But you can see that the original background is blurred, right? It's blurred. So we also want ours to be blurred. What we do is you now click on the layer, which is this streets, this layer. You click on it and come to filter, right? You come to filter and go to blur. We're going to apply the Gaussian blur, which is this one. You apply it. And you just take it until it blurs a similar way to that other one. I think this is okay. Maybe 5.0. 5.0 is okay. And we're good to go. Then we can add our text and call it street view. Remember, you can add whatever it is you want to add, whatever it is you want to add. I'm just calling my street view. So it's just a fun project for all of us to do. Now, this is okay, but for aesthetics, I prefer this guy to be at the back of this street view, to be at the back of this man. We'll come back to our our layer panel, and drag it down. And drag it down. And you drag it down. You can see that. You can also bring the man down a little bit if you want. Or let's make him smaller. Drag him smaller, and okay. Just make it smaller. Then call it street view. Call it street view. You can change the color of this text from our characters here. I don't think this purple goes with the background. So let's choose something that goes with the background. Let's say, I think white will go, or ash. Yeah. You can drag this down. Okay, so this is the first thing we'll all be doing. Both the background and the image and the image of the guy can be found in the drive. Sorry, you can find in the drive. So you are just going to download them and practice on this. You can also play around with the tools that we learned today, the move tools, the rectangle, zoom, blur, whatever it is. And I mean, just play around with the software. Let's say we want to make this guy a double, just briefly before we round up. Let's say we want to make this guy a double. You just hold your Alt key. On the Mac, it's going to be Option, Alt or Option key. On your PC, is going to be Alt, but on the Mac, it's going to be Option. You're going to hold the Alt key and drag it out. Let me show you something. When you hold the Alt key, you can see that the arrow, this move arrow changes. When you hold Alt, it changes, right? You see a black one and a white one. So then you can now drag out to make it double. Still drag out here to make this one double or triple, you see. Maybe call this triplets, triple, or whatever I want to call it, and just. So the whole idea is just to have or get a hang of the tools we have on Photoshop and how you can use them to create awesome designs in the future. I would appreciate questions and questions if you have any. So after the class, you're going to go to the drive, download these assets, and get this done. Now, I don't like this space that we have here. There's a space here and here too. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to the crop tool and we'll crop it out. You can see, just drag, come here too, and drag. And then OK here. Okay. This is what we have. Then we save. When we're done with this, we come. You can if you want to send this to the drive, to our drive to show that you're done with this, you come to export as, right? Export as. You can choose your format. You can choose PNG or JPEG. PNG or JPEG or JPG. For JPG, always make sure that the quality is at the highest. So you can drag it. Here is low, here is high. So 7 is the highest here. So, and then save. So you choose the folder you want to save it to. Then you name triplets. Save. So I have it saved as an image. You can go back to my computer and open it here. So I have it opened up here. Now, if you want to save it as a PSD, you come to File. Remember, you're saving as a PSD so that you can come back later to edit it. You come to File and save as. Choose your listing. Triplets. PSD, you can see triplets PSD, and you save it. Make sure you always have maximize compatibility turned on. Click on OK, and you are good to go. So come back to our. If you close this out now, close this out now, you can see that you can come back to your triplets.psd. You can just, the point is that when you just duplicate Photoshop automatically, or the system knows that this is a PSD file. So it's just going to open with, by default, with Photoshop. So you have this down here now. So you can see, you can still edit it if you want. Let's say you now want, you don't want triplets anymore, you want twins. You delete that guy and select these two guys and change it to twins. Let's just give you an idea of how the PSD file works. It means you can edit it. Or if you go back to our image, this one that we have initially, if you go back to this one, you cannot edit this one. There are ways to modify it. Yes, there are ways to modify it, but you will not have a clean edit the way it is on a PSD file. So, yes, any questions, please? Any questions or any questions?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So I saw everything. Well, I may say it was so very impressive. But the one I have here, Photo Express, is so that it's not a different software at all. It's a very different one. So there is a big difference.
Okay, a big difference with your software.
Yes, because I have a Pixel Lab with a Photo Express, so it's not as the same.
Your Pixel Lab, there
Yeah.
should be something, there should be an option, right? Okay, what are you trying to achieve? You're trying to achieve what we have here, right?
Yes. So
Now-
now it's just that it's out of the line. Yeah.
For your Pixel Lab, right?
Yeah.
There should be an option there to remove background. So when you find that option to remove background, then you can just easily achieve the same thing when you remove background.
Okay. Well, I may say after the class, I will have to check again properly.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So any other questions, please? No questions? Okay, someone sent something in the chat. Okay, yes. Okay, now you have to do exactly I did. But that's conditionally. But you can play around it. It doesn't have to be. Can you hear me now? Hello? Can you hear me now?
Okay, so I said that you can do like foundationally. I want you to have the assets in the drive downloaded, and then you change the background, and then add text. The way you do it can be different. You can bring in someone different. You can change how many replicas of the person. Like here, I have triplets. At some point, I have twins. You can make it one. You can make it two. You can make it three. You can put whatever you want there. But I just want you to remove the background first of all, and then change, and then add a text that will be at the back of the subject. So that's what I want. Okay, since there are no questions or there are no more questions, that would be the end of our class for today. Our next class will be on Wednesday, next week, 6 p.m. to 8. We'll go our next class. And in that class, would go into putting up what we've learned, what we have learned now. We're going to use these tools, the panels, the menus, and we'll use it to make actual real design. We're going to create, for example, I'm going to show you how to use typography first of all in our next class to make design, because before we I don't know if I should leave this to the next class, or I'll just show it to us now. Look at this. Sorry, we've used up our time, but I just want to show us something very briefly. So look at this, for example. Okay, so this is I want to show us how in our next class we'll talk about how important typography is in our design, right? So this is a text that says, I would always find you. I will always find you. Now, if the text was, say, was in this way, and say with this color, was in this way and with this color, it looks like a very cute message, right? It says, it just shows that this is a friendly communication. I will always find you. Now, if it was in this way, sorry, if it was in this way, and with this color, say with this color, it looks much more scary. So in our next class, we're going to show how typography affects our design, and we'll learn how to use typography to communicate whatever message we are trying to communicate in our design. We'll also learn how to install various fonts, different fonts in our PCs and Macs, depending on what we're using, and how to get them and where to get them. So just keep that in mind. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Stanley. I think it's pretty much clear. The classes will continue from Wednesday next week. Thank you everyone who joined. If you did not, if there are things that you need to see, you will find it in the recordings. It will be dropped later on. We'll share it. Thank you everyone. Have a great weekend. See you on Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.
God bless you.